My brothers and sisters in Christ, in the 17th chapter of the Gospel of John, Jesus speaks of the way in which, as the faithful, we live in the world, but are not of the world. And this turn of phrase comes to mind and heart in light of the first reading that we hear today in the Book of Wisdom, in the way that the world responds to the godly man. Speaks of the way that, notice, it doesn't even talk about the man's words or teaching calling out, just his very manner of life offends the worldly person. Like, we have to get rid of this person because their very presence calls us out for hypocrisy or evil acts. This one makes himself out as a child of God, and it pains, their very presence pains us. This, we could say, are from the words of the worldly. And it begs an important question for us during our Lenten process of self-examination, which is, where do I stand when it comes to things of the world? In fact, if we are living a truly faithful, balanced Catholic life, we shouldn't find ourselves completely at home anywhere. And what I mean by that is every worldly movement, no matter how much good it has in it, is flawed if it's of the world. Everything in society, every trend, every fad, every ideology is inherently flawed and human. That doesn't mean we don't follow for the goodness that it comes out of it. But I'll give a perfect example of this. Is too often, in my opinion, in the United States, people let politics inform their faith instead of let their faith inform their politics. And by this, I mean they will either first decide that they are a Republican or a Democrat or a whatever, and then find the way to make their faith work with that, to back that up, as opposed to the other way around. Should not my stance on any issue or position be informed by what the gospel says? And it may be that one party or the other, or movement or candidate or whatever, at any given times aligns more with what's right, but never perfectly. And that's the point. When I look out, do I see flaws where individual people are right on some things and wrong on others? Or do I just try to make everything comfortably fit? Do I silence the voice of conscience as it regards to my faith in order to make ideological fits clean? Do I find that when I follow worldly trends, I fit in without issue? If so, that should be a concern to us. In fact, if as a pastor and a preacher, if I find that someone always thinks I'm speaking too conservatively or too liberally, that's a problem. Because in fact, the prophetic voice of the gospel doesn't neatly fit either one. At times it may align with one, at times it may align with the other, but the gospel is something greater because it's of God and not of a worldly movement. And so inherently, if we are living in fidelity to the gospel, then we will stick out like a sore thumb. This doesn't mean to go around preaching, bashing the world, the sky is falling, standing with a sandwich board on the street corner. The first reading today, again, speaks more of just the witness, the presence, the right living of the person is offensive to the worldly person. Does our manner of life, our witness of faithful living, does it stir the pot? Do we ever find ourselves at odds or the recipients of hostilities just by the very witness of our lives? And if that never happens, is that an indication that maybe I'm not fully living up to the gospel? Whether full across the board or not, in a particular area, have I given in too much to worldly thoughts and ways of thinking, worldly positions, or am I truly living out the complexity of my Catholic faith? I think this is a question worth our reflection during the Lenten season, as we see, just like Jesus, who comes to be rejected by all by the time of the cross, we too are in the world, but we are not of the world. We are called to share the light that has been given to us, while knowing that this will have consequences at times, and sometimes unpleasant ones for us, but that also we should fear not, because in the love of God, he holds us in the palm of his hand. May God bless you all.